play each other. And France is a case in point. If we're going to be a little harsh, perhaps, maybe they're all the way down from the real great performances. Silver medalist for the last Olympics. Are they as good as 4 years ago? Well, it's again, time will tell. But everybody's 4 years older, and the heartbeat is still sleeping with her, and she's 4 years older. So she's going to have to put a shift in this tournament because you know that we're going to get up the floor.
In fact, they beat them, and they almost made it to the Olympics in Beijing, but they lost to Brazil in that battle for fifth place. They did not play 4 years ago at the qualifying tournament. Here they are again. These are athletes who want to experience the Olympics just like we do.
We're finalists in the World Championship. This team can play. This is going to be a real test.
Il me reste debout et on démarre par l'équipe de Cuba.
Have been sung for this fourth game of the day. Valerie Garnier and Alberto Zavala. Why? Coaches. Zavala was in charge of Cuba back in 2008 when they played. He and I go way back. He's a good guy. It's good to see him still involved. I'm still waiting on him to make his mark really. He needs to come out and get to that Olympic Games. I think it would be a big story in Cuba. Referees, USA, Israel, and India, and Hamid Balak, who's not had a big game. And really the question for Cuba, what type of impact is it going to have without Amargo, the All-Star 5 at the FIBA American Championships. She's expected. And first of all, congratulations to her. That's what everybody says to Cuba and all of basketball. Okay, the French roster, really some exciting times in my opinion. Marine Johannes, the youngster, the 21-year-old, has made the team. And you know all about the veterans. But at FIBA, we saw her last year. Kamba is now on the team. Ayayi is now on the team. It's interesting to see how they kind of fit in this setup. In Indy Miam, Yakubu, Ayayi is going to start. at that small forward position with Skrela and Dumeric.
You're always wondering how they're going to shuffle the packs. Santorin Bruno has been one of the best European bigs for the last few years. Cuba is one of those guys that can space and but you've always got to manage her minutes. So maybe Garnier is looking at different ways to manage those things right now. I mean, this Cuba lineup, it's all, to me, it's one of, when you look at this lineup, there's no like real big, there's no one real small. Everybody's the same. They can switch as much as they want, they can press as much as they want, they can run, they're active and aggressive. And, you know, they've got, for me, what they've got is a group of people that are comfortable with each other, they play with each other in a number of tournaments, so they understand their roles. And when starting to shuffle the pack as often as you want to just keep the same balance and blend. For me, it's Can on the inside, Can Sabida. Can she get anything going? Can Noblet get anything going on that inside? Because this French team is athletic. There's enough strength here, but they're long, they're athletic. Can they really deal? Can the Cubans deal with that French? One power, can they deal with France who just control games all the time? And that's one of the reasons they control games, because Celine Dumeric is one of the best in the world at controlling the game. And I agree with you, one of the best at the last Olympic Games. And Celine Dumeric, there you go, 12.5 points per game. And that's points inside, points in the paint, points being active. She's going to have to really put a shift in to get that going today.
Almost 2 rebounds as well. Don't forget that.
No disrespect to the opponent, but it's not Isabella, it's not Sandrine Bruda, it's not Ayagi. Can she do it? She'll believe she can. Now she's going to do it. If they get enough control of the glass, they can run.
Y acuérdense el balance. Lo importante del balance es parar a la jugadora con dribbling para que se pare y todo el mundo regrese. Porque si dejamos la de que avance, va a llegar hasta el final. ¿Okay? Y confianza en ustedes. Ustedes saben hacer historia. ¿Ok? Vamos.
Vamos a pelear. Si nos lo regalan, nos lo llevamos.
Vamos.
1, 2, 3. ¡Cuba!
So that was the beta that was shouting there at the end. You know, Casanova now in the starting lineup ahead of Gellis. And you'll notice that both Casanova and Gellis are like greased lightning when they play. And I don't know, like in the what's happened in the 2 years since the World Championship, since we watched him in Istanbul, why now Casanova's in that starting lineup. Maybe he's just shaking things up a little bit. But they are definitely a fun team to watch.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's one of those things, it's not almost about who he starts with, it's about who he's going to finish the game with. Who he thinks is going to be in there at the most. So he's trying to manage. And if you've been involved with the group and over the overall program, he's going to have a real good feel for what he's going to get out of every individual. So shuffling your pack, it's all about the 40 minutes. So to be quite honest, I think they're going to interchange and we're going to see a different style, whoever's on the floor. I just want to know if Dumeric can just control another championship. She's just been phenomenal. I'd hope to see her finish at the same level.
So welcome here to North France. It's Cuba against France in the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament. It's Cuba in white attacking the basket to your right. And Casanova, number 5, is the point guard. And Noblet doesn't waste any time. She goes out and puts one up. I don't think you'll see a shot that early in the shot clock for France. And the look on Zabala's face is he's wondering why that shot went up as well. Yayi, she walked right down the lane. Nobody came close to her and missed the shot. Now Casanova explodes down the lane. She misses. And the game is opening up. And Yayi doesn't miss a second time. Nobody back for Cuba.
And the French have been looking for, you know, that quicker three. Shen Yong was doing it for a while. Yayi's got an opportunity, like a number of players have in France at the moment, to establish themselves as that quick, long three that the French have really been looking for to give them the complete balance.
Well, Noblet goes down the lane, and she is going after the French.
Wow.
Interesting all over the place. Maybe she's going to take all the shots from Ayayi, rather.
Well, and again, that's very French. Yeah, they've always tried to post up. That when they've got that size advantage at the three, they always try and post up early. Let's see, I did a really nice job sealing off.
Casanova went up, challenged the trees, only got the backboard. Ayayi again gets inside. Now Ayayi is playing the part in this French team that was previously played by Deandre Chachouan, who was injured the last couple of years and unfortunately isn't able to play this summer. So we hope that she makes it back as quickly as possible. Indy Miem and now Dumeric, sometimes patient to a fault, really. 3 seconds is the call against France. I'm not sure if it was on Miem or if it was on...
yeah, I think Yakubu down on the ball side, yeah.
Yeah, Yakubu.
This is what interests me. When they have to get into the half-court, Cuba, how are they going to try and break down this French defense? Because it's always well-structured, and they take the early one.
That was Akindo. So Noblet has shown an ability to put the ball in the basket, but nobody else yet. And there's Miem stroking it for France. And that's something that we've grown accustomed to, really. Oh, nice find inside, and that time Oquendo just kind of hustled in there, found the opening. Great pass. Now Indy Miem. Ayayi again, has it knocked out of her hands. Didn't really go strong. And the ball out of bounds, goes back over to France.
I mean, the thing you've got to like about the way Cuba plays is that they know how they have to play. They're not going to back down from that. They've got to keep it quick. They've got to keep it spread. And France, in some ways, they just have to be aggressive enough, and then they'll get shots they want. But as you said on that last drive, hey, it went very, very soft.
Yakubu gets inside. Miem. Another chance for France. Dumeric. And strokes the jump shot.
Half-court French basketball. You know, Dumeric read the defense, set a player up, came off the screen, strokes an open jump shot.
Noblet goes right at Yakubu.
Well, Noblet's not backing down. I mean, you've seen her play a fair bit in that World Championship. But she's mobile, you know, she gets to the far side of the ring, draws the contact. I love teams who know that this is how we have to play, and they just stay with it. They don't get worried. They stay positive of how they're trying to play. They might turn it over a few more times, and some coaches would like. They have to play this way to be effective.
Well, she is clearly the modus operandi, the #1 choice offensively. She's getting a touch every trip down the floor. Dumeric again knocks it down. Boy, that jump shot of hers has really improved.
Yeah, and I'm always one of those people that wants her to be aggressive. They're taking her off the point, getting her off screens, that mid-range jump shot.
Oh, that was a little too hard. Traveling on Dumeric.
Even if it wasn't a travel, and Celine Dumeric probably doesn't think it is, it looked like it was a travel.
It did look,
yeah. Wow. It was just different.
Beta gets it. And now triggers the break. Ayayi really gets out well every time down the floor. It seems like she's attacking the basket.
But Jeff, if she's going to be the answer for France in the three, those are the sort of plays where, you know, at the real level, if it's an Alba Torres down the floor for Spain, if it's, you know, other people on the teams that France want to beat, they'll end one play. She's got to go strong and finish those plays. great transition. She releases so quickly. But that's a couple of times now. She's going up a little soft. And that's not to say she's going up poorly, but compared to the best, you've got to make those 2+1.
Nice stroke there, a nice rotation. And takes it up to a 6-point lead. And now, what was that call? That was on foul.
It was on Miem on a hold.
So Miem takes a seat. Gruda comes in. It's unusual seeing Sandrine Gruda come off the bench.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, they could almost have called Tepeda for hooking because she had her left arm on the thigh of Indy Miem. Can do, no can do. It's Gail Skrella. Checks into the game. Oh, nice find to Yakubu from Gruda, but then Yakubu missed the layup. Well, Noblet, and you can understand, I mean, you have to keep saying it because she clearly has the ability, especially inside, to use her size.
Yeah.
And she's got a decent touch.
Because that way, she didn't even try and jump. She just stayed wide, created an angle, just finished really well.
Well, that time Yakubu had the answer. Casanova. Noblet couldn't get it. And Casanova just takes it away from Dumeric and puts it up and in. I don't know if Dumeric is laughing because no foul was called, or is she just laughing that she had her pocket picked so easily.
It wasn't just knocked away, was it? It was just taken away.
Gruda gets in the lane. Here she is again, Noblet, and proving to be tough to handle. Zavala wanted the basket. So she's getting fouls called on Yakubu and Miem.
And the great thing she does, again, it was just very, very, very well executed. In terms of she got a lead leg ahead, and Yakubu just stayed so close. That's an amazing steal, though.
She just stepped in front of her and took it away. I mean, there was some contact, but with the body, but not, you don't see that happen too often with Dumeric. Now Pupa is in the game for Dumeric, and Marine Johannes as well, and Casanova puts it up and in.
That's one of those, like, I've got the young kid now. As much as Pupa is quick, I'm just going to take it at her to see if she's got anything.
And that ball will go over to France. I honestly don't know who is faster, Casanova or Pupa. And then you bring Gellis into the equation.
Yeah.
And Dumeric. You got four speedsters. So Romero out of the game. And checking into the game is Galindo, number 6. Nice touch from the great Gruda. Casanova gets it to Noblet. And 3 seconds is the call.
That's a little harsh because she only stepped in on the penetration. Then she was trying to make the move. She was still trying to make the move. It's a bit of a quick on the 3 seconds from where we're sitting.
And so far, we haven't really seen anybody other than Noblet even attempt a three for Cuba.
Yep.
So with the Margot gone, it does beg the question. Sarah Michelle's going to come in for Ayayi, who gets, I don't know who the balls is that for Michelle or for Ayayi. Sarah Michelle inbounds the ball to Pupa. Both of them played last year on the French team that finished runners-up to Serbia. Pupa for three. And it rattled out. Now Casanova. I thought she was going to fall down, but got right back up. And Sarah Michelle almost paid the price for gambling on defense, and this time Casanova almost takes it away from Pupa, but Pupa gets it back. Gellis is going to come into the game with the next dead ball. Michelle, short.
Cuba's defense, interestingly, even though they're really outsized, is apart from when Dumerc came off the point and got screens, they're not really getting a lot out of their sets, France, and they normally live in their sets. And that Cuba defense switches up. That Cuba defense harries and chases. Just takes you out what you want to run.
Oh, they find Elena Zayek.
And I still don't understand why France don't do a lot more of just get it down, get someone under the bucket, try and play a little bit more in transition.
Well, the tall tower, and up ahead to Michelle, and all of a sudden, a burst of points for France. And the timeout has to be called.
This isn't a complicated thing to work out. Cuba are going to try and want to spread and slash cut to the basket, trying to get Noblet the board. She is such an impressive player using what she has. France, when they run their stuff, they get things, but they're much, much better to me getting going in secondary and transition, because Cuba have now worked stuff out, so they switch screens and take France out of what they want to run. But you're not going to change Garnier and France. They're going to run their stuff. They want to be in control of what they're doing. Cuba is just trying and trying and trying to get them to play outside of their set. Someone from Cuba's got to make some jump shots though here. They've got to try and take a little bit of the scoring pressure off Noblet, who's just literally carrying them.
Well, somebody's going to have to now because she's out of the game.
That's one way to get it. Way to try and get other people going.
Well, interestingly, Suchitela Vila's in the game, and she's got some offense as well. Don't be surprised to see her knock down some jumpers. Now Cepeda spins, puts it up and in.
Nice move.
More like it from her. And Gellis also in the game, so you've got really two real speed demons out there for Cuba. And now Galindo playing some D on Johannes. And Johannes trying to do a little too much. And Pupa almost gets it back.
Johannes got into trying to go against a quicker, faster person. And I don't think Gruder's had a post up at 6, only got it on that transition. So Cuba is successfully taking France out of what they're trying to run.
And they've also got Siak in there, who had made a couple of good plays. Well, you would think if they did have an advantage, it would be in the quickness department, Cuba. So maybe we can see a little bit more closer man-to-man. Gellis drives in, draws the contact on Sarah Michelle.
Good call. So it really did create a problem for the defense. The shooters in the corner, do you help, do you stay? And in the end, they decided to stay, which meant Michelle had to foul.
Zabala just says, come on, let's knock them down. We need everything we can get against this French team, this number 4 team in the world. Gellis makes 1 of 2 and gets back to a 5-point deficit. Guess you're looking at the heir apparent to the point guard role once Celine Dumeric decides to hang him up. Hopefully that won't be anytime soon. Now Ioannis, and she has it taken away by Casanova. And look at it, Pupa hustle back down the floor.
Wow. There's some people who are quick, but I don't see a clear-out one-on-one option for anyone apart from a Pupa on this French team. They're just having their pocket picked almost every time.
I'll tell you, Ioannis is discovering what it's like to play at the elite international level, isn't she? She's had a couple of turnovers. Galindo right at the shot clock buzzer, or excuse me, at the quarter buzzer. So, better from Cuba. 20-15, they trail by France. This is where Casanova thought she was just going to lay it up and in. And Casanova saying, nobody told me. Nobody told me a speed demon was running behind me.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see these stats because apart from Noblet, I don't think anyone in this Cuba lineup has really, finished plays.
Well, we saw Cepeda one time with that spin move down low.
We weren't expecting a lot of three-pointers, so only 3 for the whole quarter. But, 6 or 14, but they had good looks they have to finish. And if you're going to try and beat France, you can't miss those. I love the way, though, their defense just takes you out of what you want to run. And there's no team that wants to run its stuff more than France. So if Cuba can just get that success going, then this could be an interesting thing in front of a packed house. So.
Cuba do have another big that they can throw into the equation, Pavea, number 10. She played well at the World Championship.
But the great thing about, apart from, well, even though Blair's the same height, she just doesn't have the same quickness, but they can switch everybody. Everybody can switch on there because they're not going to find themselves in any really hurtful mismatches.
Now, Cuba also have a player with the last name Thompson, so you know she's good. David Thompson, Clay Thompson. You better have a game if you're going to have that last name.
Yep.
Look at Dumeric early on. France were having some success, just nobody was getting back for Cuba. Elena Siak is going to remain in the game. In fact, all 5 players will stay in the game. Celine Dumeric looks on. Still, yeah, the way that Dumeric played at the last Olympics, it still mesmerizes me. I can't. She was always good, but you just never saw that coming, did you?
No. Wow.
And she's been a different player ever since.
Yeah.
Hey, Pupa. Oh, beautiful jump shot. Nice release. Noblet back into the game for Cuba, along with Suchita Avila. And you've got Cepeda out of the game now. And with a pump fake, here's Suchita. Again, puts up a 3.
If a Pupa can add that sort of control on the mid-range jump shot that she just executed, it's tough to be like the guard that's going to follow Celine Dumeric into this team, but that's the sort of thing she has to add to a game, that other speed, that other control dimension, because that's what really fits this French team. And then she can add the pace that she already brings.
Noblet off the back of the rim. It's almost like the halftime came at the end of the quarter came at the wrong time for Cuba. They had the momentum, and France looked to have regrouped. Gruda. It's the second time she's knocked down a jump shot.
That's saying again, over the years that she's been playing national team ball, she's really added such consistency on that mid-range jump shot.
Foul called. Look at that shooting percentage is France at 58%. Cuba down below 35%. So Johannes picks up the foul.
Faute pour l'équipe de France. Attribué à numéro 17, Marine Johannes de l'enseignement pour l'équipe de Cuba.
Gillis back at the line. I mean, in some ways, Cuba doesn't really have much to lose here in that they're big underdogs against France.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, I think you and I probably both agree that the way that France often play, you can stay in games with them.
I think they always give you a chance.
Yeah.
Because although in this game they've gone a little bit quicker, and that's because Cuba's asking them to, but sometimes you feel when they have a chance to really turn the screw, they just run their sets. They're very risk averse as a system.
Apupa, well, she's taking the shot with confidence and knocking it down. And that is a very impressive sight, indeed. Now Gillis. Gillis drives in, gets blocked by Gruda.
Just foul.
Wow.
Don't mind seeing it again because she went with the right hand, but was asking Gruda to foul her. Gonna get a look now. Well,
unless she had her left arm on her, but still, she's kind of going into the land of the trees.
And the official went like, you know, the chop across the arm. And it's so much easier when you got slow-mo and about 15 angles to make the call from. But they're beginning to break the French down in the half court. They're beginning to get to the basket. You know, a few times now they've broken them down. There hasn't been the rotation. And I still think if they keep it spread, it's their best opportunity to, you know, get high percentage looks. But they must make the free throws. They're in a hole. You got to stop digging.
Well, they trap Apupa. And it was a little surprise. The jump ball position error goes back over to Cuba.
It was a bad decision by Apupa because you saw the trap was there. She was looking straight at it and then continued to advance it. Dumert would have just spun back to the middle and seen the other side of the floor, or even just made the pass over the top. Got to be careful though, because this Cuban team, when it gets into rotation, is going to be rotating pretty quickly. So you've got to be sure where you're going to make the pass against the trap.
So Miem comes back in. Gruda takes a seat. Three-point attempt. And here comes Apupa. Michelle finds Miem underneath, and Miem is fouled by Cepeda.
I just think France can do that type of thing because every one of their bigs, with the possible exception of Isabelle Yakubu, who can get down there as well, but gets to the front of the ring really quickly. They outnumber. They can always pull it out and run something quick in transition, but they tend to quit on that option very quickly.
Although we have seen them do it more tonight than we usually do. So maybe they're coming around to our way of thinking.
They have been quite successful doing it there.
Yeah, that's true. This is the fall, spent this past season with Kursk in Russia. Longtime Bourges player here in France. Romero. And that is on line and on target. Nice shot from Romero. Siak trying to post up Noble down low. Miem is going to take the jumper. Well, she shoots it exceptionally well for her.
Love the way Miem shoots the ball. Love the way she's got that. She's quick enough to go past you as well, so you have to honor it.
Cepeda goes up, and France come away with it.
Jeff, you won't see that very often. A Apupa speed, even where it got us, you just have to back up to say, I'm not going to get out here.
Johannes, and she drills a jumper. Now it's a 12-point lead for France, their biggest. Or is it their biggest? One of their biggest.
No, I think 12, I think you're right. I think 12 is the biggest.
Beta turns to her left, tries to score, but Miem held her ground. Abupa just goes right down, coast to coast, but misses the layup. Miem gets it back. Wow.
Nice look. That's a super look.
Chalk up the assist for Michelle. And timeout on the floor called by Cuba. They're now in a little bit of trouble. They trail it 35-21. And Cuba were lost defensively on that sequence.
Well, the other thing about France is they do pass the ball really well, which is another reason every now and again you've got to get out of your set. Just make the pass when she's open. I mean, they're shooting 63% from the field because they're getting the open looks so close to the hoop. Cuba have got an issue. Let's not underestimate the task. You know, France are genuinely fourth in the world. So, and the great thing for France is they may have three young, less experienced players on the floor, and they're not missing a beat. So Pupa, we thought did a really nice job at Eurobasket last year, and maybe should have played more. Is beginning to start getting into a genuine, different option than Cuba. So the signs are really good for this French team.
You can't have a player like Apupa and say, we're just going to walk it up the floor. It's just not possible.
If you're going to just walk it up the floor, don't pick her. You know, because she's not, there are probably better guards at walking it down the floor than she is, but she gives you something else. She's
like a bullet out of a gun.
I saw her at the Under-19 Worlds, and she just destroyed a very good Spanish team in the semifinal to make the final against the U.S. And it was just that no one wanted to guard her. She was just a handful.
Casanova floats in and misses the runner. Running jumper. Now Johannes doesn't hesitate. Uncorks the three. They got some talent. We hear about the talent coming through Spanish youth basketball, but you know, we're seeing some of that great young talent here. It's in the French system.
And that's what is a great system. At the end of it, more than anything else, the system is so strong.
And Cuba right now are in trouble. Skrela. And Galindo's going to come back in the game. 19 points, the lead. It's really gotten out of hand.
It's 19 points, and it's all been great defense, fast break. Great defense, come down, early shot. It's all been good options, but it's based on how well they're doing defensively until then.
Noble gets one down low. I have to say, Johannes is a player who gives them something that they haven't had. You can see, very athletic out on that perimeter. And Miem drills the jumper. Johannes looks like a player that was born with a basketball in her hand.
And again, you were mentioning about Pupa being different. Johannes is different as well. And if Coach Garnier can go through a little change, it gives so many more options. They become a real factor late in major tournaments. Are they happy winning silver medals? Do they want to win gold? Because that's the sort of step up they make. That's the only place they can go.
I think they're good enough to win the European Championship already. They've just lost a couple of tough ones in a row.
And that's the trouble. No disrespect to any other part of the world, but when you go to Eurobasket, you get France, Spain, and Serbia. Well, one of those teams at the moment, then it's someone else. It's various teams. And Russia is a sleeping giant at the moment. They also have a number of young players coming through that just missed out on being in this competition.
Canada, on the international stage, you just see certain teams really emerging now.
Yep.
And Yakubu misses, gets it back. Misses again. But yeah, you've got a cluster of teams that right now USA is above everybody else, and then you've got Australia, Spain, France. Really, Canada's knocking on the door, joining those teams.
And again, with the Canadian, you mentioned the French system, the Canadians are developing a system. The right one for them. It's not the same as France. It wouldn't be right to be the same as France. But they have a sustainable thing where they're going to plug talent into that system and just produce it.
I will go back. I mean, I'll say quite possibly you could almost say Australia might have that, the direction they're going. They might be a clear number 2 as well, but we'll probably see this summer if that's the case. Because they're bringing in a new generation of players as well.
And that's why they got to a level. They had a system. Maybe they lost that a little bit. But, well, we know that that's what they're building now. It's not just about a team. It's about a whole process.
Well, what about Miem? Another basket for her, 12 points. And France are knocking on the door 50 points in the first half.
This is going to sound very almost crazy in some ways, given that what Miem has done as a player. But I always think she has so much talent in terms of the jump shot is so good and she can put it on the floor. She could actually achieve even more than she already has.
Oh, beautiful bounce pass inside with the quick hands. No, they don't come away with it. And instead, it's going to be Yakubu. So more and more already, I think it's safe to say that Cuba could be looking at that game against New Zealand as their passage to the quarterfinals. They're going to have to.
Well, given results in preparation, the way New Zealand got a win against Spain, that's going to be a tough old ask. Maybe not as daunting as playing France in France, but this group is a hell of a tough group if you're Cuba.
And that three-pointer gets it back to 18 from Romero, but then wide open. Nobody picks up Miem.
And there's no excuse for that. That's just communication. They can switch that, they can stay. They did neither, and that's just communication.
Minute and a half remaining in the opening half. Noblet. And Ayayi back in the game, gets it over to Gomer. Yakubu left wide open, decides to take it. Romero avoids the foul by Yakubu. And Galindo drives in and draws the foul.
Les changements pour l'équipe de Cuba, sortie de jeu numéro 4, 38 au tour numéro 12, Sylvain Noblet, retour de la joueuse numéro 15, Sophie Avila.
So Ochoa comes out, Noblet comes out. Cepeda's back in. Marielle Lamont comes in for France. You know, Cuba, I was wondering, and because I hadn't seen them before tonight this summer, but they have been on the wrong end of some big results, and they are not clicking now. It's one thing to be playing against the number 4 team in the world and the host of the Women's Olympic qualifying tournament, but they've got some work to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting, there's a lot of, theory about, prep. Some people will say as long as you don't get damaged mentally too much from like losses and things in preparation, you can manage it. I think it's a really tough ask, especially if you're on the road away from home and you end up on the wrong end of some results. You've got to be a pretty good group to bounce out of that and arrive at the tournament and think positively. And then you arrive in France or in the other end. It's a tough ask. You could get into that we've got nothing to lose mentality. I don't think that's very Cuban, though. I don't think they have that. They look very deflated at the moment on the floor. They're a little, if you can be slow with their pace, they're a little step off defensively, and that's why France are just picking them apart with passes.
Lamont on the baseline. Suchitela Avila over to Romero. Cepeda gets inside and just can't get the drop. Now Amont, who's kind of been in and out of the French team the last few years. Skrela. And she puts it up with the left hand and no good. And it goes over to France. Skrela's a great story. She didn't really get a call up to the senior team until Eurobasket Women in France 3 years ago.
Obviously, she's part of that big sporting dynasty, but they've been looking for that role, that shooting spot, for a while since they lost a couple of people after winning the Eurobasket. And
2009.
Yeah, and then you thought she was going to come in and just shoot it, but then she almost lacked a bit of confidence. I think it's a testimony to Coach Garnier. She said, no, Skrela's she fits this team. And she stayed with her, and she's become an important part. But she's never going to light it up for you. But she's one of the, everyone needs a glue player on their team. She's one of those.
Well, you see France are just completely dominating Cuba on the boards.
It's a tough night, and you're giving them 2 or 3 goes every time. It's a tough ask.
Ian's had herself a nice game. 14 points already in the first half. Here's some of the damage that she's been doing.
Well, she just hasn't missed.
And when she misses, she gets it back and scores.
It's almost one of those textbook jump shots. Everything's in a straight line. She's square. She's got great release.
So Yayi inbounds the ball to Skrela. Dumerc for 3. And looked like Yakubu may have gotten away with a push there on Cepeda, although it could have been incidental contact. And that's it at the end of the first half. The last basket, Casanova having words. France in complete command, 50-29 over Cuba at halftime. A lot of work to do for Cuba to get back into this one. They trail 50-29. France shooting 61% inside the arc.
And they've been a very pretty 61% as well. Their movement's been good, inside, outside.
And that rebounding is just
scary.
A story in itself.
And 19 assists at the half. There's some career nights going on, if it carries on like this. So 50 points and a half. They're offensively being very efficient. Miem's perfect from the field. There's not a lot that Valerie Garnier can talk about at the half it's about our performance. We've got to go out and, don't come in here off the bench if you're not used to minutes thinking it's a little scrubby time. No, it's not. This is an opportunity for you to get the chance to play and get back in this. We need everybody to perform. That's what they've got to get into now, how well they execute.
I think if Yamara Amargo were here for Cuba, if she was still playing, maybe it wouldn't be a 21-point lead, but it would still be pretty sizable, probably at least 15. Anyway, 50-29, France at halftime over Cuba.
Avec la participation du public pour ces
Well, 20 minutes separate France and Cuba from the end of this opening game for both teams. And right now, there's going to have to be something exceptional done by Cuba to get back into it. Because as we were talking, Mark, we don't really know what they're trying to do. We understood early on they were trying to get the ball to no blitz. But at the end of the day, just the diversified attack, the numerous options, and really the talent level of France is just far too great from what we've been able to see compared to Cuba.
It's who knows? There may have been a decision to say we can't win this game. You know, we can't win this, so everyone will play. We'll get ready to play New Zealand and then maybe get to the quarterfinal that way. But with their quickness, they can recover out quickly and contain penetration. They've got to pack bodies in their middle if they're going to stop France just picking them off. But I can't tell you what they've decided to do. And it's been a bit surprising because I've never seen them play in this particular way. And down the other end, I think, yeah, credit the French defense, but they haven't even gone dribble, penetrate, kick. They may have got to the bucket for a couple, but it's been a strange performance. Well, one thing for sure, though, Jeff, Coach Garnier's not going to let up because, you know, she not just has aspirations to qualify from here. They're a silver medalist from London, so they've got aspirations to medal again in Rio. And this, again, is about the whole, it's about get out of here, get the qualification spot, get ready to be a competitive team. You don't do that by letting up and just giving away the opportunity to, even if it's just set screens on other people. And who knows? There's no guarantee. Some of these players, they can't be resting on the laurels. There's a group pick for this. That's not necessarily the group that's going to go to Rio. There's going to be some players that might break into the group.
Absolutely, that's the way it goes. They don't have to name their final squads yet, although some teams like the USA, for example, have named their Olympic squads.
You wouldn't expect many changes or anything like that, but in years gone past, they've been at Olympic qualifying tournaments, and girls have been, players have been told on the way home, this is taking too much out of you. I'm taking someone else. This is an Olympic Games. This is about trying to medal, and that's where France are. There's no room for the sentiment.
So second half action underway, and France in the dark uniforms, the blue. Gruda has it. She's going at Noblet. And traveling the call on Gruda. You know, the one thing that Cuba has going to their advantage, if you look ahead, say, not to write off their chances in this game, but they will have tomorrow off, and they'll be able to watch New Zealand, and then they will come out rested against New Zealand.
And you know, Jeff, us just keeps going at it and scores. Your personal pride, if they played as badly as we think they're playing in terms of not normally this bad, they're going to play more and better than this. Nothing more dangerous than a team playing to re-establish some pride. And still with a chance of qualification. role, and you sure the coach is going to have that conversation. Yeah.
Goblet spins. And Liam stuck with her, blocked the shot. And the ball intercepted there by Cepeda. Casanova. What a great name that is. He pulls it up, brings it back out. And Casanova just put it right into the hands of Ayayi. And Ayayi just had it taken away. And that's really the big question mark I have about Ayayi is her strength.
Didn't go hard, did she? Didn't go hard. Didn't even make it a 2-on-1. She had Gruder down the floor. She didn't commit. Didn't like try and create Gruder even. Just went up expecting to be let to have the layup.
Romero puts up another three. She's hit a couple tonight. The hold has been called on Gellis. Misses. Finally a chance for Cuba to run. This could be Casanova. Passes back outside to Romero. And just doesn't take advantage.
I mean, you got to credit though. She got back really quickly to challenge the shot. So you know that French lineup's not letting up. Skrella's got to knock down that shot. You know, the wide open looks. There's that three-man post up that this French team run particularly well. I'm not sure they're going to get much out of it if FIBA just doesn't play that much stronger than that against some of the teams with big threes. I don't think she'll get much out of that playing against New Zealand, for example, who just play a much tougher.
Yeah.
And they'll bump her out the lane.
Romero pulls it up, gets it back, looks at her feet, they're set, and misses. And Casanova stepped out of bounds.
One of those days at the office, Cuba, where if it's going to go wrong, it's going wrong. Even then, penetration wasn't a bad decision. She steps on the baseline.
See Leticia Kamba coming into the game. And that was a turnover from Romero. Here's Kamba. Niam. It's almost like a layup for her. She's made so many tonight, but she misses. Ellis at the line. Certainly France haven't played perfect basketball and kind of almost invited Cuba back into it. And Cuba haven't really fully capitalized. I mean, they're down 19. Into Niam and gets fouled by Romero.
This is most, okay, let's just put the margin to one side, but Williams known for that spot up, mid-range jump shot, facing up, whatever. She's actually flashed to the bucket a lot more than you're used to seeing. If that's something you can always add to your game. She looks a lot more comfortable trying to get to 4 feet, get in a little contact. She's a little bit more comfortable doing that. And it looks like she's pretty much cemented in here as the starter. Everyone else seems to be scrambling around in that front line for a starting spot. And she has been hampered the last couple of years by some fairly serious injuries and rehab time. So it's good to see her back to looking like 2010 and later.
Well, she's happy to be on the screen, but French team not impressed. The foul was on Cepeda, or excuse me, on Cepeda.
There's the move.
Well spotted. And Kamba coming out and making the most of her opportunity.
And this is why, when you said we weren't really sure what they were trying to do, like, in terms of the post-up, Galindo's playing behind Kamba. There's only ever going to be one result. She's going to catch it and score, or you might make it worse by fouling her down there, which is what happened. Got to try and play in front of her there, otherwise she may still score, but at least make her work for it.
Ellis explodes in the lane. And Zavala just stands down at the end of the Cuban bench and just thinks, how much longer we got to live through this? Because they're not showing us much on offense.
That's the first indecisive thing that Mian's done the whole game.
Galindo gets it back and puts it up.
Caught in two minds as Galindo puts it to him, but France have been nowhere near the exceptional level they were in the first half, but they're still maintaining this 18-point lead because Cuba have just gone even more passive on them defensively.
Taylor steps in and hits the jumper.
Well, Schrader off the dribble is not really what she's out there for, but if she starts to do that, that's going to really help France going forward.
Ellis just from behind the line, that's good.
Cuba just settling back in the I wouldn't call it a matchup, it's very passive, playing inside the three-point line. The ball's still going in far too easily.
Right at the shot clock buzzer, drills a three-pointer. So Kamba commits the foul, one of the newcomers in the senior team. Dinas is going to come back in for Strela. We see Dumerc kind of bringing back memories of the Olympics in 2012.
Well, she made so many big plays, not just in 2012, but in 2011 in terms of the Eurobasket with silver. And it's just, got beaten in the semi-final, got the bronze.
Yeah, by Turkey beat him.
And then when I thought they could win, and she was so good at the Olympics. Then 2013, she almost carried the whole nation into the final, and then just came up to one game short.
She had a great game against Sweden. Basically rescued them in the quarterfinals.
One of those great games of Eurobasket history, that one.
Inside the group, wide open. And Cuba just lost on defense. And then Galindo stepped out of bounds.
And the frustrating thing, if you're you're watching this and you're a Cuban fan, every now and again you see a glimpse. Galindo's penetration, and she gets signed. But the start to the game was pretty decent, and their quickness. There's always these glimpses. They've just been unable to maintain any level of intensity almost, or any sort of pressure. They can't exert for any period of time. So if you're a New Zealand fan, you hope you don't get complacent, because they do have things in the locker room where they've got the opportunity to play. It's just not there. It's just you can't just say it's a bad day at the office, but that's how it looks.
They've had a few bad days in the build-up, that's for sure. Noble. And what I wonder is, what about the future of the Cuban team? If you continue to see the same players year after year after year with newcomers.
But they still struggle a little bit because of, to an extent, some isolation, don't they, in terms of what they do on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. The raw material is definitely there, though, isn't it? I mean, their athleticism and their quickness. You know, they've produced this generation of players, so there's a level of coaching that's going on. And it's like one of those things, I think the world of basketball needs places like Cuba to really sustain a level. That just takes, everyone else has to go up a level.
Galindo drives in, blocked by Atlanta Siak.
But that's the sort of stuff we're talking about. You know, Siak's going to get charged with a personal, but Galinda's first step is just quick. And she creates that whole opportunity just by the catch and the rip through. And because it's so quick, Siak can't get across. She's late, there's always going to be the contact. But they just haven't done enough of that. Well, Coach Sabala's going to have a coaching challenge after this game. He's going to have a day and a bit to try and prepare them to show up mentally strong in that game if they don't have an opportunity to get back in this, which is a long shot.
Romero chases it down and draws the foul. So we've got timeout on the floor with 2:09 remaining. If you look at the drive again and the foul, France head over to the bench and Cuba as well. France on top, 64-40. Assists and turnovers for both teams. No surprise there, France with 24.
But even the assist, they had 19 at the half. Even that's gone off the boil a little bit. And that's, you know, we could sit here and be really harsh and whatever else. It's hard. You know, they've got another game to play, so they've got to get themselves ready to do that. So, you know, Garnier won't want anything to slip. And Pupe's come back into the game. And it'll be interesting if she can, like, do what she did in the first half, bring a little pace to what the French want to do. And yeah, and there's your back court for the future for France. Those two is an interesting combination because they both have a lot of offense.
They really do. And Romero misses the first.
Marielle Amon in the game, Jeff. You mentioned earlier on she's been in and out. And you always look and think, well, she's got the attributes, she's got the quality she could bring, but she never quite managed to make that step. Maybe, you know, even for her, this is an opportunity.
Well, she's still young.
Yep.
"26 years of age. Well, she's young compared to you and me.
Wow.
Kamba misses. Giannis kept it alive. And Cepeda has to get down the floor, try to get it. And she's going to be tied up with Amon. So Kamba takes a seat. And Sada Michel back into the game. Noblet goes right at Siak. Siak says, I'm holding my ground, but some low post moves. We're seeing some footwork.
But like again,
from Noblet. Watch.
But like what she doesn't do, see, like a right foot is the free foot. You only have to defend that right foot, and she lets her step through with it. And if she lets her step through, she's going to get called for the block. She's just going to get either side that right foot and say, go on then, go over me. I'm nearly 2 meters tall. If you can shoot it over me, great. You're just not stepping through on me.
Johannes out on the perimeter, and Michelle Amont has it. She looks at Siak, back to Michelle. And Michelle whips it back outside. They get it to Johannes wide open. It's good. He's got some game.
Yep. And whatever the situation, she now looks, in this game anyway, looks very comfortable out there. You know, she looks like she's in the system, enjoys the system, feels part of it. She ran that hole, was very comfortable with the fact that her teammates would get her the ball.
So the left-handed Galindo back at the line. Looking at the ages of the Cuba players, you don't have anybody younger than 25.
No, there's a lot of people that have been through the system the last few championships together. That means they're probably going to end together. That's going to be a difficult thing for them to manage as a transition.
Sada Michelle steps in, short. And Galindo beats the French defense up the floor. She's shown us a little bit tonight. Galindo coming off the bench.
Well, one of the few teams that has been very consistent. Little trap, you know, you're looking at some different options.
And Amont is fouled by Cepeda.
They foul the shooter, and you're like, why? She makes it great. Well, you never expect a Cuban team to quit, and this team isn't quitting. And you'd expect them in the fourth period to at least try and come out of this with some positives, looking forward to a game that they could still qualify. That's the craziness of this format, that you can be like this, turn it around the next night and get to that quarterfinal. Then you're just in one-off games.
What's interesting is you've got the New Zealand coach there, Kennedy Kuriyama, and Chris Lucas, his assistant. I believe is over there. You know, the New Zealanders are scouting this game, as you'd expect. The players are here watching as well. And right at the end of the quarter is too late. So Cuba and France, 69-47 on top of Cuba with 10 minutes remaining.
Well, those statistics pretty much tell you everything you need to know. 56 from the two-point range, and that's that's slipped a little. Perfect from the free throw line. And the rebound numbers getting a little closer, but still massive advantage for France, and 26 assists. If you're a coach, you're loving 26 assists. All sharing the ball, not turning it over. Coach Garnier's got to find some objectives in this fourth quarter so they stay focused on what they're trying to do. I don't think that'll be that hard for them. And I still think all the issues are down the end here with Cuba. They've got to find a way to finish this game and say, yeah, bad down the offense, but we found a way. We got something out of it. We've got to get ready to play New Zealand. Because who knows? You know, they might show up tomorrow and France might maul them for a whole game. And then they're both coming out of it. Well, who's going to pick themselves up the best?
Probably the team that has the day off, really.
You would hope. You would expect. Well, in some ways. Be interested to see how the New Zealanders approach that game. Do they say, well, we're going to play it with chance to win, we'll try and win it. Or are they coaching it to just talk about winning? Because if you just talk about winning and then get blown away, it's hard to find a positive. But, you know, it is about them, the positive way. Hey, they beat Spain, they show up, beat France, and all we've got to do is beat Cuba, they're in. So, for them, it's the same thing. It's almost like a game when we got a second chance straight after.
Well, these teams need to be playing well right now if they want to get to the Olympics. Cuba definitely are not playing well against France. Fourth quarter underway. France on top by 22. Cuba sitting back in a zone.
Little trap in it though, so you know there's a different variation.
Yakubu catches it down low and just powers her way up.
Sabina just stood behind her again. Didn't bump and front the cut.
Galindo gets in the lane, puts it up and in.
Feels like she has more than 9 points because she's got all those points in this second half. She's done a really nice job being aggressive.
Amont at the free throw line. And Yakubu.
See, I think, Jeff, that for Amont to break into this team, that's the sort of shot she just has to knock down.
Kind of like a Mian.
Yeah. You know, that's got to be, she's open, there's not a hand in the face. That's got to be a very high percentage shot for her. It just doesn't look like it flows like, you know, obviously like a Mian, because that's a quality looking shot. But that's the sort of game she's got to bring to break into this rotation on a permanent basis.
So Galindo was called for the foul on Yakubu. That's why France have the ball. Yakubu goes up. Nowhere to go, really. Now Casanova up ahead. Oh, French kind of helped out there. They batted the ball and it ended up in the hands of
It looked like Johannes was ready to catch it until I think Yakubu got a piece of it.
We're back to a 20-point deficit. Oquindo going to come back in. Still in the 2-3 zone. Michel, the jump shot. Three-pointer.
Michel and Scred are almost like a little bit of a carbon copy of each other. You know, they bring that sort of role to the team. And Michel knocked down the shot beautifully.
A soft release from Noble.
15 points, and you can't knock the effort she's put in. And she really has a nice stroke from deep, isn't she?
She does indeed. Yakubu now, she's short. And Noblet, what she may have impacted on that one. Johannes, boy, she is a confident shooter. She put it right up there.
She has a really nice arc, didn't like that great stroke, great rotation on the basketball, and quick release. She looks a really nice option going forward as Amon dropped one.
She hurts you.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Mark Clark says, you better start hitting that shot, or you're not going to have a
I
on this roster.
I really thought when she first broke in, she could really become a factor.
Galindo took her time. Casanova got inside. Cepeda gets the rebound. Somehow Noblet did not lose that ball. She fumbled it. 4 on the shot clock. Michel read the pass. Now to Akupa. And Yakubu hustled down the floor. Three on the shot clock. Michel. This is the layup. And Galindo's pass batted by Johannes. The game opening up nicely, but Akupa decides to hold up. surprised Johannes didn't shoot that.
I think every bone in her body was telling her to shoot it, and she's like, well, I'm in front of the bench, just run the play.
I don't want to get a reputation with a quick trigger. Epupa right at the shot clock, and Noblet with the rebound. And Yakubu reaches in, knocks it away from Noblet. Under 6 minutes remaining now. France still in command, 22 points, and Garnier wants a timeout. She wants to run something, presumably.
I hope so.
Fourth game of the day.
And you know, the thing is, you know, Garnier's like, if she's unhappy with something, this is an opportunity for her, because as we said, this is a process. They're going, it's about preparation, it's about winning this game, yes, but it's about, if she's not happy with the way they're executing, this is a great time or a great opportunity to tell them that against another team.
Yeah.
You know, there's still 5:46, she's got plenty of time to work at something. But then I'd expect her to go, well, okay, I need Celine to go back into the game if we're going to do that. You know, if it just takes just a moment, the guy's not doing it, unless she believes I think Johannes is going to get this team something really quite special going forward. So all sorts of reasons she might need to take this time out. Gives the announcer a chance to spend some time with the crowd. This crowd's loving this. There's thousands of tricklers in the gym.
Galindo para acá o Klenia para acá. Para que Marlene le dé a una a la otra. ¿Ok? Eso es lo que si no hay nada, hay pantalla. ¿Ok? Vamos ahora a la 23. Vamos a la 23. Abierta.
You know, there's not a lot wrong with what France have done. They're knocking down 75% of their field goals in this fourth period. So there's not a lot wrong with what they're trying to do. Now maybe she's going to try and look at some different defensive options. As I say, it's all about her getting ready, a team that she believes she's going to take to Rio to try and get another medal.
I suppose she'd like to, although she wouldn't say it, I'm kind of looking at her still to kind of step out of the shadow of Pierre Vincent, because she was his assistant. She got the silver last year, or she got the runners-up at the Eurobasket Women.
Yeah, but she's got a great opportunity in going to the Olympic Games, and you know, getting better than silver for anybody is going to be a stretch. But you know, it's a different thing. You have to go to the other side of the world to do it. You have to go to a different continent to do it, and it's a tough ask for France. There's a lot of teams around that sort of who can get to the semis and finals. There's a lot of teams that are in with a good opportunity for that.
Casanova chased down the ball, decides to pull it back out. Yeah, you know, Brazil are already there. They'll be the home team. You know, this could be potentially their strongest performance for some time if they can ride that home court advantage. Nice move from guess who? Galindo.
Yeah, she's had an exceptional second half. I mean, up to 13 points, and they're all second half points. That first step is impressive.
Must be also slightly difficult for some players to play her because she's a lefty.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's been exceptional coming down the left wing and is blowing past people. So, yep.
Noblet from the line. That's one thing about Noblet. She's going to hit some jump shots if she's open.
She's got a double-double against, you know, fourth-ranked team in the world, silver medalist currently, and you know she's going up against some big, talented people.
I suppose though a double-double in a heavy defeat isn't as impressive, but
well, no, it's not in some ways, but in terms of her spot on the floor and how she's had to get those points, and the fact she's rebounded pretty hard, and sometimes alone calls on the glass. It's not like she's got a double-double in a one-point win where she's really been a factor, but she's one of the people who's delivered at the level she's supposed to deliver. Galindo's the other one. You take those two out of the equation, and there's not a lot of people have been at the level you'd expect them to be at.
Galindo spins, gets inside, and her confidence has to be soaring right now. She hustles back against Johannes and gets it back to an 18-point deficit. Gruda puts it up. And I just wonder where Gruda fits into all this, because it used to be that France were all about Sandrine Gruda, and right now it feels not really like that at all.
You know, I think the issue, I think that, the scenario to me is that you don't know what's happening in camp. You don't know whether she's, maybe.
She didn't play at the EuroLeague Final Four.
She didn't play in the last part of that EuroLeague season. With that talent they had at Katerinburg, she was off the roster pretty much.
Dumerc.
But
shot clock buzzer.
So maybe they're working it back in, and it's all about August, not about June. But and some of the teams they're going to have to beat, they need Gruda to be at her best.
Fujita La Vila.
And
we haven't seen them yet.
And the timeout that Garnier took, she's put back the starter. She's obviously still working through stuff. And so they're still trying to execute. And the telling thing is that Gruda's in with that lineup. It's also telling that Johannes is left out there as well. And I think I think we might see a lot of Johannes as this Olympic summer develops.
Yeah, I think she brings something. You can see what she brings to the team. She's clearly a talent. Offensively, she could thrive in the open court, it looks like. She can create. She's young. She's 21.
Yeah.
And she looks fearless, really. She made a couple of mistakes early on, but it didn't bother her at all.
And she shoots the ball pretty well, and she shoots the ball quickly. And when this French team get into controlled sets, if she comes up open, they're trying to control the game. She's a real asset.
Miem just took it away from Casanova, but was called for the foul. Watch this. Well, she may have gotten her a little bit on the right arm.
It's like the follow through got her on the far side of the ring.
Casanova rattles it in. So back to a 17-point deficit. 2:42 remaining.
We've been very critical of Cuba. We've been pretty, it's a bad day at the office and stuff, but they've stuck at it in this full court, and they have got that little positive thing going with a look to looking at the game, and they get and if it's not going your way, you do stuff like that. You got Dumerc with only 2 seconds to get it over the half. Going the wrong way and you foul her.
Over to Miem inside, and the miss from Kamba. Galindo. Well, she's just ready to go to the basket every time, isn't she? I'll tell you, if they chip away a little bit more, I think the score is going to flatter.
Oh yeah,
Cuba some.
I think the score flatters them at the moment in terms of the way that. Well, it's only Galindo and Noblet have really delivered, and Garnier is obviously trying to look at some things. So they're passing up some things and just running an air ball and a layup. So it's almost good to see the fact that she's like, I'm not just going to win this by 30. I'm trying to get something out of this. And the thing for Cuba, they've got a little bit of success out of that little trap up the front of the zone. So, without showing New Zealand too much, there's some things they can talk about after this game where, let's still make a quarterfinal. It's going to be a lot. I still think it's going to be a hard ask to get them up mentally after losing the games coming in, then they lose again. But Galindo is hey, look at Galindo. She did this. Where were you? Type stuff, and Noblet's just coming down the normal stuff. I'm not asking guys to do anything they've not done before. So just bring your game. We've got a chance to beat New Zealand.
We were talking about the 17 and 11 for Noblet, and here's some of the work that she's put in tonight. I guess coaches do think about that, don't they? They don't want to show too much to the opponent.
Well, if you're down 27, I'm surprised they're still doing it. You know, to be quite honest, they're down 27, 2 to go.
I still think that extra day off is going to help Cuba. Now the pass, and it goes, and Casanova scores, and Zabala says, yes, we executed a play that we drew up, and it's a 15-point deficit.
Still going to show that little trap.
Yayi. What do you think about a player like Yayi in terms of clearly, she still looks a youngish 21 with a lot of talent, but the need to get that strength. I mean, what does she do? She just has to hit the weight room?
Yeah, but I think also there's an attitude of mind. If you look at Brianna Stewart from the U.S. making that type of move, because it's a similar sort of area, she's going to go hard.
Yeah.
He went there waiting to get fouled.
Yeah.
She has a lot of the tools. She's long. She's very, very rangy. She can move really well. But she just wanted to try and take the defense and put the defense in there with her.
Yeah.
And then talk about, is she strong enough to do it?
Yeah, because it doesn't, you know that no matter what happens with Brianna Stewart, she's going to go hard. At least she's definitely coming away with a foul.
And that's the same age. So you're not looking at like an established star that, you know, it's on that U.S. team or an established. You're not talking about comparing it to Alba Torrens, who's been a seasoned professional. So I think that's a reasonable comparison. If France want to compete at that level, that's the aspiration you've got to have.
Yeah.
Because you know, what have they done when they played under 19 World? What have they done that's going to make them as good, you know, or at least compete with Brianna Stewart? That's not the sort of thing you'd be able to compete with. She's got to be a little bit more aggressive, direct, and almost more confident that that's what she's supposed to do. And in France's case, the comparison is fair because they're a silver medalist. Do they want to be a gold medalist? Well, you've got to do a little bit more to make that step. And that's being really harsh on her, because she's a talent. She's going to be a great player. But you've got to go against other great players. It's the conversation, like the conversation you have with different players on the floor, but Yurchenko and Biramayenko today, they played hard. They were good, but they brought everything they needed to bring. And when they were challenged, they were definite. They actually went through everything. And Jeff, you know, like when we're having that conversation, that's what Celine Dumerc did in 2012. She said, I'm going to play at that level. And she brought that level of game in almost every single moment she was on the floor. I mean, France nearly lost to Great Britain until Dumerc said, no, I'm going to make a three to take it to overtime. It's, that's the sort of thing. You've got to find ways, and she was finding ways.
Oh, look at that. Okamba's missed a couple. I think it's a really, with the 5 spots, we had our picks for this, and I looked at France and I looked at Spain, and I said, listen, these teams are dead certainties to qualify for the Rio Olympics. Nice jump shot from Miam, and really for France tonight, consistently, you have to say that Miam has maybe been their best player. Look at that, 19 points.
Yeah, to me, she has the tools to be at that level. She just has to confidently bring it. And maybe, playing in Russia, having that responsibility.
That must have helped her.
That's got to at least put pressure on her every week to deliver. And she looks that little bit sharper. She looks in great condition.
Yeah, her condition looks fantastic. She must be running through that Russian cold. those morning runs. And Gellis has it now. Gets up ahead. Casanova. I was thinking that maybe the speed factor of Casanova and Gellis might play more of a role tonight, but it really hasn't. So 83-67. France will probably try to get one more basket here because you never know. Goal differential. Dumeric clanks it off the rim, and that's how it finishes. But it was comfortable. It was comfortable for France. I don't think Cuba thought they were going to come in and beat France. But they maybe they had a minor recovery in the fourth quarter. They lose by 16. France will take on New Zealand tomorrow in Group A. And then it'll be New Zealand and Cuba on Wednesday. There you have the stats.
Well, it's just efficient, isn't they? Just efficient. They were excellent. They executed. They were very, very, very efficient. Maintained that margin on the glass. 31 assists. You got to love playing with each other with 31 assists. And as a group, that's France. You know, they're exactly as we would expect them to be. They look on course. They look like on course to qualify. It's going to take a hell of a performance by New Zealand to actually sort of try and get a win over France in France. Miami with 19 points is impressive, but no way of a double-double. Take your hat off. She stuck at it. And I still think that fourth quarter performance will give Cuba something to hang on to. All you need is something to hang on to when you're talking about this game and preparing for the next. And at least that fourth quarter would have given them that. And that, you know, that'll help. And Ayayi with 10 points and Cuba with 10, they shared the points. So that's just, it's easy to say. Very typical, very good level French performance. Getting ready to play New Zealand. They'll confirm qualification with that win tomorrow if they get it. New Zealand will obviously be trying to bring something to take that away from them.
Well, we saw some great play. Don't forget from Maureen Johannes showing she's the real deal. And Galindo perhaps emerging as a factor for Cuba tonight. And there was also the secret, Povea didn't play tonight, and I have to wonder why, because I remember her 2 years ago. She was good for Cuba, but nevertheless, it's been interesting today, and we've seen 4 games played. China beating Venezuela, Argentina overcoming Cameroon, Belarus, and really the best game of the day, knocking off Nigeria, 71-60, and then France cruising past Cuba, 83-67. We'll be right back tomorrow, as I'm sure you will be as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. For Mark Clark, who's already gone off to bed, I'm Jeff Taylor. Thanks for watching.